right, guys, so let's take a look at the second part of chapter 10. I'll have you guys turn your books to page 273. So let's look through this together. The first part was getting people involved. The second part's using manipulatives and models to help us out. So if we look at the letter cube, it's pretty straightforward. It says, build this cube to see what letter is opposite the letter P, or the letter T, sorry. So I took a piece of paper and I followed the net that was on the page, built it into a cube, and then I tried to make sure that I saw the letters exactly as they were. So the first way through, we had an H on the top, we had an N on, we had an H on the front, we had an N on top, we had an O on the right side, like so, okay? The second one, the O was on the top and the W was in the front, and the X was on the right side. So where's our X? O on the top. So like so. And then on the last one, we wanted a T in the front, an H on the top, and a W on the other side like so. And so we turned it and put the letters on there just as I saw them in the picture. Well, now that I've got the cube built, it's quite easy for me to determine what's on the opposite side of the T. So there's the T on this side. Opposite that is the O. Okay, if you've got a manipulative in your hand, you don't have to think through the process in your head. It becomes pretty straightforward. Okay, so that's one way we can do it, build a manipulative. Okay, the second problem I want to take a look at here is on page 276. It's called number puzzle. Kind of like the cryptorhythms we did in other chapters, but we're going to use manipulatives here. So it says using the digits 0 through 9. So I created the digits, cut them out from 0 to 9 here. We're supposed to fill in the blanks of this puzzle. So we've got 4 plus something equals something. A couple numbers multiplied together is 20 something. 6 minus something is something. And then I multiply a couple and get a single digit number. So we need to kind of figure out how we're going to do this. Couple of things to consider here, you guys. I'm adding 4 to something and getting a single digit number. So I can't add 6, 7, 8, or 9, or I'm going to get a 2-digit number there. So I'm kind of restricted as to what I'm going to do. So I could go 4 and 3 and get 7, 4 and 2 and get 6, 4 and 1 and get 5, etc. I've got some options. Okay, I could even do 4 and 0 and get 4 because the 4 there is already given to me. Okay, over here with the 6, I'm subtracting something and getting a single digit number. Well, again, I can't subtract 7, 8, or 9 or I'm going to get a negative. Okay, so I've got to consider how I'm going to do that. There are a lot of things that you can do. If you look in the book, they kind of gave you a hint. They said you could use the 4 and the 1 to get 5. So we'll do that initially. So I'll put the 1 in here. We know that 4 plus 1 is equal to 5. And so that'll eliminate some of our issues. But you can see how we've got manipulatives here so that I can determine when I've used a number and when I haven't and how they're going to fit into the puzzle there. The next thing I think I'm going to do is look at the 6 here because, you know, 6 minus, I could put another 6 there and get a 0, or I could go with 0 and 6. I can't really use the 7, 8, and 9, you guys. 6 minus 7, 8, or 9 gives me a negative number. 6 minus 3 would give me 3, and I can't use 3 twice. 6 minus 4 is 2. So I've got a few options. Let's try this one first. So I go 6 minus 4, and I get 2, so that's a possibility. Okay. The next thing I would look at is over here, where I'm multiplying and getting 20 something. Well, of course, 6 times 3 is 18. That's not going to work. 7 times 3 is 21. 8 times 3 is 24. 9 times 3 is 27. That's the only option I have here, you guys. And I'm wondering if we didn't make a mistake over here. Well, I know we did because I did that on purpose, but I wanted you to see what would happen if I made a mistake. So 9 times 3 is 27. That certainly works. But now I've got a 0 left over, and there's no way that's going to work when I'm multiplying. There's no way I'm going to get a 0 for an answer unless I multiply by a 0. So I can't have that happen. So we're going to put these back. We're going to come back to this example right here. We're going to put the 4 back and the 2 back, and we're going to see what happens. The problem I ran into is the 0. So how do I use the 0 to help myself here? So I'm going to put 6 minus 0, and I'm going to get 6, okay? And then I've got some options over here. Of course, I could go 7 times 4 and get 28. I could go 8 times 3 and get 24. I've got some options. Well, I've worked this out prior, so I'm gonna try this here. I put a 9 and a 3, just like we did before. 9 times 3 is 27. And then I'm left with 4 times 2 equals 8, and I finish the puzzle, okay? But what I like about the manipulatives here, you guys, is it gives you an opportunity to actually play with the numbers. You know you've only got 10 to work with. You don't have to keep track of crossing things out as you go. You can put them in the right spot. So for some of the problems that you do, use whatever you've got at home. You know, we happen to have some things that worked here. If you don't have that, be creative, all right? Good luck.